What is up, you guys? Welcome back. Welcome to Gara Movie House. I want to share with you guys the top 5 superheroes with no powers. These are the heroes that I personally like better than heroes with actual powers because in my opinion you appreciate them, or I appreciate them just a little tiny bit more because they don't have power. For all of you that have been following me for a while, all of my subscribers that have watched all of my videos, I'm sure you guys can probably already guess what number 1 is. But can you guess the other 4? 1, 2, 3.
Gara Movie House!
The first hero with no powers on my list is the Punisher. The Punisher is Frank Castle, a guy with strong military background, who, just like most heroes, goes through a very tragic event that changes his whole entire life. He ends up losing his wife and kids due to crime, and that pretty much sets the rest of his life. After losing his wife and kids, he decides to avenge their death by destroying the mob that killed his family and taking down anybody else that is connected to that. Because he has military background and a lot of it and a lot of training, he knows how to fight and he knows how to use certain weapons, or pretty much any weapon that there is. And because of that training, he knows how to get to certain places and find out the things that he wants to find out to get to the people that he's trying to get to. But the thing that makes me love him even more as a character is the fact that he doesn't really care about dying. He's willing to do whatever he has to do to bring all of these criminals down, even if it means dying. He's not scared of dying because in his mind, he has nothing to lose. He already lost the most important things in his life. And he has so much darkness and so much hate inside of him that literally nothing is going to stop him from finding you. Nothing is going to stop him from killing you, even if that means him dying himself. That's why to me he's one of the most important superheroes with no powers. Because I just can't help but think about the fact that he's always by himself and he's always thinking about getting revenge. I mean, that's all that he ever thinks about. His wife, his kids, getting revenge, killing all of these criminals. And every time he kills someone, he takes their money and he takes their weapons. So you can only imagine how many weapons he has. And because of all of the military training that he has, all of that background, you know he knows how to use everything. Even if he's one man, he will take an army down. If you guys haven't seen this, I highly suggest you guys check it out. I promise it is not the greatest superhero movie ever made. There is one that came out in the late 80s, and then there's another one that came out after this, Warzone. If you guys haven't seen this, check it out. It's a lot of fun. I promise there are a lot of hilarious moments. Like I said, it's not the greatest superhero movie, but it's still extremely enjoyable. Number 4 on the list has to go to the one and only Hit Girl, also known as Mindy McCready. Hit Girl is probably more mature than any other girl on earth that is the exact same age that she is. Her life has pretty much been chosen for her because of the way that she's been raised. Her dad is Big Daddy, another superhero with no powers. Mindy McCready is just not your typical little girl. I mean, when she should be outside playing or maybe spending hours on the phone with her girlfriends, she is constantly thinking about what to do next or who to bring down next. She's always concentrated on her job and on her mission because that's how her dad raised her. I mean, yeah, many people might think that it is a little messed up about how her dad raised her and brainwashing her to be the way that she is. I feel like she could have left Big Daddy at any moment to do whatever it is that she wants to do. But she loved her dad and they were extremely close. Yes, they were father and daughter, but at the same time, they were the best of friends. She is also filled with humor. I love her sarcasm. It works with some heroes and it doesn't work with others. I feel like it definitely works with her. She brings a lot of humor to the whole entire Kick-Ass series that just makes everything extremely fun. She can be wearing a dress and she can have her hair up and she can be wearing makeup and trying really hard to look pretty and just fit in with the rest of the crowd in her school. But no matter what is going on, if something goes down, she is prepared for it because her mind is always set on being a hero. Another scary thing about her is that she looks innocent. She looks like a pretty little girl, but she's also somebody that you don't want to mess with because she will kill you. She would chop you up into 1,000 little pieces and laugh while she walks away. You also have to keep in mind that she doesn't know anything else. This is who she is. This is her life. From the beginning, this is all that her dad, Big Daddy, has implanted into her brain. So what else would she be doing? I absolutely love this movie. It's definitely one of my favorite comic book movies out there. I know usually people have a favorite whenever it comes to part 1 and part 2, but I honestly cannot decide. If you guys haven't seen the first or the second one or both of them, please do yourself a favor. They're hilarious and violent. And who doesn't like that in superhero movies? Number 3 on my list is the one and only, extremely popular, maybe just a little bit too popular, Iron Man. Truth is, Tony Stark is a genius. He is an engineer genius. He is brilliant whenever it comes to inventions, especially weapons, and he can pretty much create anything as long as he has the time and concentration to do it. He can build it. I like to think of the heroes that have an amazing backstory, like Hit Girl being raised the way she was raised, or the Punisher himself losing his wife and his kids because of crime and then deciding to do what he does. Tony Stark doesn't really have a story like that. He was raised a rich playboy kid, a spoiled little brat. His dad was running the company called Stark Industries, and then as an adult he starts running that business, and one day he gets kidnapped by the enemy and realizes that his weapons are actually being passed around the whole entire world, and because of that he decides to change his mind. He ends up creating his own weapon that he refuses to give to anybody else, and he decides to use that weapon to better mankind, to help people. He decides to be a hero. But the reason Iron Man has to be on the top 5 list is because he is human, and he did create this armor that he could have easily sold. He could have used it for anything. He could have sold it to the enemies. He could have sold it to the US. He could have made even more money than he has. He could have made a bunch of different copies and sold all of them. But no, he decides to keep it for himself, and he decides to use it as a weapon to help society, to help the city, to help the world. And while doing that, he has to be inside of this. So yeah, one can easily say that the man is nothing without the suit. But at the same time, the suit is nothing without its creator, which is Tony Stark. And yes, he might be a little annoying because he's selfish and stuck up and very, very sarcastic. But at the end of the day, he is thinking about everyone else. He's one of those people that is hard-headed. He won't ever admit that he cares about you, but actions do speak louder than words, and Iron Man is one to show that extremely well. He is almost the definition of actions speak louder than words, and that's why he deserves to be on this list. I will say that it is not the greatest trilogy in the world, but they are a lot of fun whenever it comes to comic book movies. I don't own the third one, but I am planning on it. So yeah, you guys, Iron Man is definitely number 3 on this list. If you guys haven't seen the Iron Man movies, they've been out forever, so I don't know how you haven't. But if you haven't, check them out. Number 2 on my list, which I actually have on DVD, but I will eventually upgrade to Blu-ray. I just don't know when. But number 2 on my list has to go to Rorschach. This guy is a psychopath. He is insane. He is crazy and awesome. He doesn't have an armor suit. He doesn't have gadgets, you know? He doesn't really have anything. All he has is himself and a bunch of anger, like deep inside, that he just uses whenever it needs to come out, because he tries really hard to normally be calm and quiet. But when this dude is pissed, he is pissed. Rorschach is a man by the name of Walter Kovac, and he had a pretty messed up childhood. I believe he was like a bastard child. He didn't know who his dad was, and his mom was a prostitute, so he was raised around that environment. He was treated like crap by his mother. He literally felt like he wasn't cared about. But like a lot of these amazing heroes, there is that one thing that just triggers that anger and just pushes them over the edge, that creates the person that they are now. According to his story, from that moment forward, he is no longer Walter Kovac, but Rorschach himself. So for Rorschach, is like this whole superhero getup costume thing, or what he's doing, is no joke. And in the Watchmen series, all the other superheroes are thinking that he is insane. He's lost his mind, because he is always in character. I mean, in his mind, he is literally Rorschach all the time. He's no longer Walter Kovac. Walter Kovac is his costume. But the thing that I love about him is the fact that he has nobody else. All of the superheroes are literally falling apart. They can't hold themselves up. The whole world is chaos, and he is the one person that is concentrated on one thing, and that's helping everybody else. And that's saving humanity, saving the world. I love him because he has no armored suit. He has no gadgets like other heroes. All he has is himself and the ability to concentrate. And he also has this ability to, no matter what is going on, he is on point with it. Something might go down that wasn't expected, because he usually is a step ahead of everyone because he has detective skills. So he's really good at solving problems. And because of that, if something goes down that instant that he wasn't expecting, Rorschach literally does not care how big or how powerful you are. If he honestly believes that justice needs to be served, if he honestly believes that you need to die in order for justice to be served. But what I love about this movie, or the story in general, is that while other comic book movies or other comic book hero stories are spending their time uplifting and honoring all of these heroes, this story sort of concentrates on their flaws. We see these heroes as regular people, people just like us, people with flaws, people that go through things just like we go through things on a daily basis. But throughout the whole entire story, Rorschach is actually the only hero who has his mind set on one thing, who isn't questioning anything that is going on, while every other hero is questioning things and isn't necessarily sure about what's going on or what side to be on. Rorschach is the only one who is one-sided, who is looking for justice, who is looking for the right answers, and nobody and nothing out there can change his mind, because he is very black and white. He knows right and wrong, and he doesn't believe in between. He is almost the definition of vigilante, because that's exactly what he is. He's just another regular guy with a lot of pain and hurt inside of him that he is willing to use to find justice. But number one on my list, of course, I'm sure a lot of you saw this coming, most of you saw this coming, if not all of you saw this coming, is the one and only, the Bat Crusader, the Dark Knight himself, the world's greatest detective, the greatest vigilante out there, the Batman. Batman, as we all know, is Bruce Wayne, who as a child witnessed his parents get murdered. As a kid, he saw that, and he's been having to live with that his whole entire life. And when he reached a certain age, he decided to flee, to run away, to disappear, and spend years that he could have been spending doing whatever he wanted to do, having fun, or spending all of this money. He decides to spend all of these years with no money, decides to put himself at the very, very bottom and work his way up. He trains himself. He makes this decision to be something, to be somebody, to be a hero, to be a symbol. That's really why I love Batman and why I respect him so much, and why I think he's the greatest hero ever. Because he has the money. Yeah, he's a lot like Rorschach, to where he has all of that inner anger inside of him, and something happened to him whenever he was a little kid that has sort of traumatized him and brainwashed him to be a certain way. But you also have to understand that he has money. He has everything that a person or a kid could ever want or desire. But he decides to put that to the side. He makes this choice to be a symbol for the people in Gotham and for the world. I mean, Batman is just one of those characters to where you almost feel sorry for him because of the things that he's gone through and because of the choices that he's made. He literally puts his life in danger every single time he puts on that costume. He's almost like Rorschach, to the point to where Batman is who he is, and Bruce Wayne is just a costume, because his mind is always set on being Batman, even when he's not in his costume, in his mind, because of the things that he went through as a kid and because of the things that he put himself through all of those years to be the hero that he is now. He is always Batman, mask on or mask off. He is that hero. Batman literally put a lot of work, personal time, effort, work into being the hero that he is. He has made this life decision that he probably made that night that his parents died to be the hero that he is. And that's something that he patiently carried with him up to a certain age where he knew this is the time. It is now for the Batman, for this symbol, this hero to come out and do what he's destined to do. Batman is human just like me and you, and he is willing to carry the weight of the world on his back if it means finding justice. I'm not going to recommend one Batman movie or two Batman movies. I'm going to recommend all of them because they are all worth watching. But that is it, you guys. That is my top 5 comic book superheroes with no powers. I hope you guys enjoyed this list. I hope you agree with my list. If you disagree, that's perfectly fine. Just leave your comment down below. My question to you guys is, 1, what is your favorite superhero of all time? If your favorite superhero of all time is one with powers, then let me know who your favorite superhero with no powers is. Don't forget to leave your comment down below. Like the video if you like, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Thank you for watching Gary Movie House. Like, comment, and subscribe for my videos. Peace out, homies.
It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me.